Average here, and I've got some pretty cool news regarding the podcast. You know, the one that you may not have heard of at all, because I never really talk about it, you know. The Silver Duo podcast with me and Wargame 1 We have got a sponsor that's going to help out the podcast, and I'm sure you already know him. No, I'm just kidding. It's this store. It's Mighty Ape. This is really cool for me because this website is where I actually get most of my stuff from, if not from the actual Games Workshop stores. They are based in Australia and New Zealand, but I do believe they ship internationally. They have a massive variety of Games Workshop products, but not just that, the store is huge. It has all different trading card games, all different hobby supplies and paints, and even general video gaming stuff. But anyway, this is really cool because this really helps us out to get started. Basically, they've given us a link that you can go through and purchase literally anything on the store. There's so much here, I'm sure you could find something. And then we get stuff in return to help us out, which obviously would be great because it gives us an opportunity to help the podcast grow. You just go through that there, which will bring you to this, and you go into the Mighty Ape partner store. From there, just purchase whatever you need. But anyway, I'm sure you've heard enough from me. I got this excitement out, so as always, may your dice rolls be better than average. Stay awesome, guys.
Alrighty, so episode 4 of the podcast with special guest Kane and the man from McRae.
How you guys going?
Hey guys.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good to have you on.
Good
It's good to be here.
So what have you guys been working on lately?
I've been working on my Ultramarines again, my Shadows of Ultramar, and a little bit of Nids.
I have seen the work with the shields that you have been doing with the wet blending, and it is very impressive.
Thank you.
I don't know how you managed to do it right.
I wanted to try a new technique, so
Can't look at him like, how did you do that? I need to learn.
the masterclass on Warhammer Plus, legit.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. I'll have to check it out.
What about you, Kane? What have you been working on?
Me, I've been recently acquired some custodian bikes that I've been trying to mend together because the bases were a bit screwed.
Yeah, right, what was wrong with the bases?
I don't know what really happened to them. It looks like, because you know how you get those hover bases and they've kind of got like the bulb you put in the bottom of them, if that kind of makes sense?
Yeah.
It looked like they've just glued it, snapped it off, and then said that'll do it, kind of. Yeah. I wouldn't know how else to describe it, but yeah, they were pretty munted, but I've kind of re-drilled them and stuck them on bases again, so they're all back on them. And yeah, really just waiting for them to get them primed and get them on the table.
That'd be sick. What about you, Jordan? What have you been up to?
Myself, mate, I finished another Archon for my Dakari. I've now got one with the Agonizer, and he is like finessing, styling, profiling, you know, all that Ric Flair shenanigans, you know, he's on it, you know, yeah, you know, diamonds in the rough and all that stuff, like, so. And of course some lovely Incubi as well. Love painting some Incubi. Got 15 models. I'm now down to about 10. So yeah, got one squad done, but doesn't help that I keep dropping these models and having to re-glue their arms back together. No, don't drop the models because it's not a good idea.
They're so small and fragile too.
Yeah, especially when you have a over hyper cat as well who loves to just run around and be like, "Ooh, plastic models destroy," and then it's just basically Godzilla all over your painting table.
Bio Titan.
My cat's been obsessed with gaming tables lately. Every time I've set one up, he just wants to sit dead in the middle of it. Don't know what it is.
Cats like that though.
Yeah, they're assholes.
They're a bit of a catastrophe.
Basically, it's like, oh, give me treats or I'm going to destroy your models.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, dogs are worse. They will literally eat things.
No, that was my Mephiston. Why?
I'm looking after the paints for my friend Rob, and because he's away on manoeuvres, and he's got like about 5 or 6 paint pots that just have dog teeth marks all over them.
Oh,
Oh god.
Oh,
thought you would get high paint holders and be like, I have the high ground. But yeah, I think in regards to new stuff, I don't think there's any new things coming out recently. Although I did get the new Thousand Suns Codex, and it is amazing.
Yes, what do you think about that?
So a lot of people who I spoke to about who's also got the Codex, including myself, have agreed that they've kind of almost gone back to their old ways in regards to the 7th edition Codex, and in some ways is not too bad, but it's like 7th edition with some new additions to it. But overall, just 1,000 Suns are really good now when it comes to psychic powers. So not all of them even cast on the 5s. Like I think Magnus, like with some abilities, can cast like psychic spells like Smite on like a 3-up, which is just nasty.
No, I mean they were good. They were good in 7th. They were good in 7th. I think they got really horribly nerfed in 8th, so they needed something like to make them good again, because they're a full psychic thing and they need to be good.
Yeah, they're really nasty.
Yeah, I definitely think they've gone down a really good path with some of the things they've added to the codex.
I mean they've play tested this edition and all the codexes really well. In my opinion, I think they've done their due diligence and they've got everything in the right place. And we won't. I don't think we'll reap the benefits fully until everything's out.
Right.
And we see the whole roadmap, as it were. A lot of us are kind of like, oh yeah, like some codexes were underwhelming, and some codexes don't make sense. But I think maybe when we get to the end of it, when they do the full release schedule, it'll all, if we get there, because we know what GW's like. Editions don't always pan out, but I reckon when we get to the end of it, everything will make sense.
Oh, for sure. I'm hoping that like once we get all the codexes out, we actually get a good solid amount of time before the new edition, because I noticed with 8th, the newer codexes come out and we changed to 9th pretty quickly after that. So there wasn't really enough time for some of the later codexes to really set in.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue with 8th was I think they had the plan of what they're trying to do with 9th was this was meant to be an edition that there was never meant to be a 9th edition. I don't think. I think they were trying to create a system where they could just update continually without having to release a whole new edition. It was just, we'll release new codexes within this edition. But there were some teething issues with 8th that didn't pan out, and I think with 9th they've got it pretty much bang on with the main gameplay for the rules. So they can try and keep this edition around for like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, which would be good. I was going to say, Kane's only played in 8th and 9th. So how do you feel the difference between 8th and 9th was?
I wouldn't really know how to describe it because I don't have the experience of going into a new edition as more of a new player transitioning over from editions though. It's a good experience to learn it and adapt to it, but also like what you guys are saying, having the new codex comes out. We're in that awkward stage of like not everyone's kind of up to scale a bit. It's a little bit annoying, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think COVID didn't help with that either, because
Oh god, no.
it transitioned in COVID, so most people are now having their first game in 9th.
Yeah.
In the last like month or so. So it's really, really hard to gauge it as an edition globally.
They're only just starting to open up events and tournaments throughout America.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So
It's really hard because I mean COVID. I mean that's the thing when you release anything during like something like that, it's not going to have its full effect in the community. You're basing it on your individual experiences, which is sometimes not as good as when you've got the whole group doing it.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I mean, my store is slowly starting to open up games again, so I'm so excited. So they're starting off with Kill Team, and then if it goes well, then they'll allow people to play like the bigger games, and I'm just like, oh yes, bring it on! Like I can't wait. So I've told the guys at the store because I've got them all on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, just message me when you're doing games again. I'll pop up with some Goth Town and fishnets and just show how the town should really be played. I mean, I can't say much because I lost at Devon a couple months back, but it kind of reminds me from the conversation we had regarding the codex update, saying like, Tau really need the updated codex, and I'm not sure how Games Workshop have their algorithm for the updated codexes, but Tau need one so bad, and so I don't know if there's an order to how they're doing them, or when they test gameplay. I don't know how they make the decision on, okay, this comes first because this is more needed than that codex, or if it's just, oh, okay, now we'll just do this one first because we have no particular order or anything else.
As far as I know, they've got a rough idea of where everything's going in the release schedule. It's just whether they get there by their set period of time.
Yeah,
I think they know where everything's slotting in. It's just getting it done.
Yeah, for sure. Because I know even at the start of this year, the Jakari Codex was supposed to come out in January, but that was pushed back till the end of February. So that's one codex alone that was 2 months pushed back.
Yeah. I mean, I think as well as like you watched all the YouTube channels that were doing bat reports and stuff like that, and they're still saying it now. The NDAs they signed are still in like play because there's stuff that they've play tested that hasn't been released yet. So there's companies out there that already know parts of the roadmap.
Yeah.
So we know that there's the future releases are already planned out because they've already play tested them all.
Yeah, Tabletop Tactics talk a lot about like when something comes out, they're like, well, we've seen what it's going to do in the grand scheme of the game, so just be patient, sort of thing.
Yeah. It's the same with Liam Dempsey. He's been saying that as well. He's like, I know what's coming out next, and it's exciting. So you need to be patient and see what happens.
Yeah,
I think it's difficult for some people. Obviously, when you're a big fan of the hobby, it's like, no, I want it now.
yeah,
I mean, it can be, but I mean, the thing is, you've got like as a Warhammer fan and a Warhammer player, you have to remember that there has always been problems with getting codexes out. This is not a new thing. I mean, if you look at like 7th, there was plenty of people who didn't get codexes. And like Chaos Space Marines, there was a massive like 4-year period where nobody had a codex.
That was a big problem through 5th and 6th. So like Tyranids would run off like the 4th edition codex. No, maybe it was Orcs. One of them was running off a 4th edition codex all the way through until halfway through 6th edition. So it was like they had no schedule. It was just release something every now and then.
Yeah. This has been the most concise edition for a release schedule because they've actually got one, and we know they've got one because people have talked about it. So I feel like they're doing their job way better this time round than they've ever done.
Yeah,
which you've got to respect that. You've got to respect it.
And I think that's good because companies like Games Workshop learn from their mistakes sometimes. But
I think because people in the modern day don't have any patience, I think that's the problem. People's patience for waiting for stuff over the last like 5 years has dwindled ridiculously. So everybody wants everything now. But the problem they don't realize is when you're running a company the size of GW and with the kind of scale of the books that you put out and the balance of a meta for like a tournament system, you've got to be very, very concise with what you do, and that sort of stuff takes time. And people don't understand that sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's pretty much the same scenario with the PlayStation 5, isn't it? It's just like, yeah, I've been trying to get them for ages. But at this point, I'm just like, I'll wait till they're just in stock in general because there's so much stuff going on. I've kind of realised, oh, well, I don't really need one. It's just I want one for the sake of being able to have one, and say, oh, yeah, I got a PS5.
Yeah, no, it's genuine. It's the same with the Xbox as well. It's like I've been waiting until it comes into Argos so I can get it in Argos and pay it up, but they don't have any. And at this point, I'm just like, I don't need one. I can wait.
What games are you most
Um,
excited for to come out in the next gen consoles?
Oh,
Because they had all the PS5 game releases teased.
that Marvel.
I mean, the
Wolverine
next
thing.
the next Elder Scrolls probably, but I'm
You'll be
not
waiting
sure if
years,
that's
man.
gonna. Yeah.
Kane, what about you? What game are you waiting for?
Waiting for the new God of War. That looks awesome.
Yeah,
Oh, hell
that's
yeah.
sick.
I was super upset that I sold my PlayStation 4 and I never played the when they revamped it all. I've only played like the originals, and yeah, it was massive letdown because that game looks baller.
I
Oh,
will say it did not let down at all. It was phenomenal. But one thing I will say is, I've heard rumors. I'm not sure if it's true that they might be making a Space Marine 2 game.
God,
Another
I hope
company
so.
will be picking it up and carrying
I
on
mean,
the
that
story.
would be cool. That would be cool, but I don't see it. But because they're not that. I don't know if they're that big into pushing the games these days. Because they keep making them and they keep flopping.
Yeah.
I think it's
Have you
Space
guys
Marine was the
played?
biggest game today, I feel like. And they need to make another game like that because everyone played it.
Yeah, I mean, it was popular. It was a very popular game. But I mean, if you look at the things that they've done recently, none of those games have hit the heights they wanted them to.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Kane?
Have any of you guys played the new Necromunda games or anything like that?
No.
No.
Nah, I've not played them. I've almost got them, but I think the last one I got was Stormground. And Stormground in its base principle was really fun, but it was just overall really they made it far too difficult. Because you do the campaign and you get so far into the campaign, and if you die, you start from the very beginning of the campaign. Like every time.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, wow.
It's just hell. I mean, you go right back to the start where you're doing the tutorial in the first mission, and it's just like you keep some of your stuff and you keep new guys, but you still have to play through it all over again. It's just like after you've done it like 10 times and dying, you're just like, no, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, fuck that.
This is just too hard, and you can't unlock any of the new characters until you finish the campaign with the Stormcast. And it's like, I'm not doing this. I want to play with the death guards, like the Nurgle stuff, but I'm not playing through like a whole campaign of dying every time and restarting because that's just going to be horrible.
I've played the Inquisitor Martyr. It's not as new, but I enjoyed that. It was like Diablo style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked the look of that one. I wanted to get that one, but like I missed it the last time it was on offer.
Yeah, no, it's really good because you got the different play styles. Like you can play the heavy gunner, or you can be a psyker, or you can be like an assassin. So there's so many different ways to play. I enjoyed it a lot.
It is good, and it reminds me of Kill Team that came with the Space Marine pre-order.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it always looked like a really tempting game. So was it Hired Gun was the one that came out at the same time as Stormground? That looked really fun as well, but I heard it was as buggy as anything.
Yeah, the hired gun looks awesome to play. I haven't heard anything about it, but it looked like a cool concept of you being the mercenary in like the hive cities, going around teaching the gangsters what.
Yeah, it looked really cool, but I think I waited a week till it had been out and I'd seen the initial reviews, and everyone just said it was really fun, but it was glitchy and buggy, and there was just a lot of problems with it. And I've not read anything recently to see if it's actually improved after the patches.
Yeah,
Might be worth looking into.
The only other console games I've played really regarding to Warhammer is Space Hulk, because Space Hulk is brilliant. But they did two versions, the regular Space Hulk and Space Hulk Tactics, which were both phenomenal. And then they did. I'm trying to think what it was. I think it's another Space Hulk game, but it's first person. And you're actually playing as a Terminator, and you're going around like just shooting Tyranids, and then you get to choose what weapons you want on your Terminator. And I can't remember.
Oh yeah, that was
Space Hulk Deathwing.
Yeah, Deathwing. That was really fun. That one, I really enjoyed that one.
But I'm struggling to complete it because I cannot do it on my own. I get to a certain part of the game and I'm just like, oh, I don't have ammo. Oh, here's the Tyranids.
But I think the issue is like the thing with Space Marine. Space Marine was a really good game, whether you liked Warhammer or not. It was just a
Yes.
good game. I think the problem with a lot of the games that they do, other than that, is they're really crap games, but we like them because we like Warhammer.
Yeah.
So we
That's
overlook
fair.
we overlook the issues.
I think
it's
it's
true.
we don't get a lot of choice, so it's kind of like this Warhammer games that are out of what we have. So we kind of got to just accept some of them and be like, look, it's not the greatest, but it's better than not having anything.
I mean, Dawn of War is great, and I'm talking like the OG Dawn of War, like the first one, Winter Soulstorm, and Dark Crusade they are, in my opinion, the best Dawn of War games. The other ones just don't feel the same.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, no. I'm a huge...
Dawn of War was really good. It's a sensational series of games, and I think they all have their own merits. But I think the fact of the matter is, you were never going to go wrong with a real time strategy game because everybody already knows Command and Conquer and StarCraft were super popular. So they just built on that template. It was very hard to go wrong with that. Same with Total War.
Oh, Total War is so good.
In Total War, I played Total War 1 and 2, and that's just up there. Be like, yep, I conquer everything now.
So do you guys play on PC or are you console guys?
I am mainly console, but I've still got my PS2, so I can even play the Fire Warrior game as well.
Oh, that's going back a bit.
yeah,
Yeah, mostly
so good.
console, little bit of PC, but I don't have a proper PC anymore, so very much limited to console gaming.
That's fair enough.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation. That's only because I got screwed over by Xbox, so they can go do one.
Wow, what happened there?
So I purchased a game, and it was on sale for like £2 or something like that. I can't remember the exact price, but either way, it was on discount. So then you don't have to pay the full price of the game, because I think the full price was initially like £40, and it was super cheap. So I bought it, and then when I checked my balance after, it ended up making me pay the full price for the game, because they said, oh, as soon as I made the purchase, the deal had just ended. And I'm like, well, that's a load of rubbish, because the deal says it's still on offer. And it was just a load of back and forth. And yeah, and after that, I was just like, right, well, I'm done with you then. Like, I don't like it when companies try and screw you over like that. And the guy I was just talking to was just a complete dick. So yeah, but now I'm with PlayStation, and I've had no problem since.
Look, fair enough.
Yep, that's fair.
I was looking on the Warhammer community website, and they posted about these Orc Conversions. I've sent them into the chat to have a look. Some of them are just they're so good.
Yeah, I've seen those popping up. They're pretty cool.
Like,
oh, wow. That is perfect.
I love the one that's got the 2 squigs up front.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost like a pod racer.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to do that on Warhammer Pod Racer series.
Yeah. I've actually the bike in the middle. I've actually the one guy in the middle of the axe. I've got one. I built one very similar to that. It's basically like an orc riding a plasma cannon off a Redemptor Dreadnought.
Yeah, no, that looks sick. There's actually some cool ideas there. Like, that looks like a thermal cannon for a knight.
Yeah.
That almost looks like it.
Yeah.
That one
Star
looks...
Wars vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, they're knight bits, because that one's got a knight faceplate. That one's like the knight, like the top of the head. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I just love how orcs are just... Oh, someone called it, it's really bad. They're just screaming green retards that throw things together and just... It works.
Yeah, but it's beautiful.
Right? It should
Absolutely beautiful.
absolutely should not work, but here it is, and it looks great.
It reminds me of a sound of someone that did on TikTok, and it goes, "Here comes the boys, hello there." It was just funny. I can't wait to get an Orc army.
They're definitely the best for like kit bash and conversions. Like you can literally do anything. There's so much fun you can have with orcs.
And no one's even going to question it. They're like, "Yep, checks out."
Yeah.
This one's for you, Ross, because you're a Ultramarine player. How do you feel about this new model? And there's another one. This one, the new Horus Heresy Ultramarine ones.
I mean, they're really, really pretty. I mean, I think Ultramarines just do it so well. I mean, I love the armor. I love the kind of like the pomp and ceremony about them.
Right.
But again, they're ridiculously expensive most of the time, and
yeah,
no one's going to pay it for them. I mean, I'd love to run them as like captains and lieutenants and stuff in my main army, but I'm not paying the money for it.
No,
but
it would be so expensive.
They are super pretty. You know,
I really like how the non-Terminator ones got like it really hones in on the Roman aspects to it.
I mean, like the Horus Heresy stuff they do, they really go like really hell for leather and doing the whole Roman theme, which is brilliant. And it's gorgeous, and that's one of the things that attracted me to Ultramarines in the first place. But I wish they'd do that sort of level of detail in the normal Ultramarine kits.
Right. Because they seem to make the normal Ultramarines just very bland, so that they're the basic army to use.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they do that with most of them. You think the only other armies they do, like, I mean, they've got the upgrade kits for Ultramarines, which is fine. But I mean, like, you get your Dark Angels and your Blood Angels that get like specific Dark Angel and Blood Angel guys.
Yeah.
Whereas the Ultramarines don't really get that as much.
Yeah.
And people always say, oh, like Ultramarines are the poster boys and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, because it's like the army they paint it up as, but their models are incredibly generic.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I think Space Marines are the only army, because technically, in my eyes, they don't really have any named characters. I mean, if you look at their HQs, it's just, as a captain or a lieutenant or something like that, you know. It's very much a standard bearer, you know. And then you look at all the other armies and like, oh, yeah, this is like, okay, so for Space Wolf, you know.
I mean, Space Wolves take the piss, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got Logan, you've got Bjorn, Fell-Handed.
You've got Ragnar, you've got what's their wolf priesty dude?
Ulrich, the Slayer.
Yeah, Ulrich. Yeah, there's tons. There's tons of Space Wolf characters.
See, now this is one I've always is it Niall Stormcaster, or is it, because I call it Nigel Stormcaster just for lols? Nigel Stormcaster.
Nigel Stormcaster.
Nigel Stormcaster.
Like, I'm sure for some models, I feel like they really do this on purpose. They're like, oh yeah, let's completely mess with them and be like, yeah, let's have a debate on what they call it. Yeah, let's just call him Nigel Stormcaller or Stormcaster or something. I don't know.
It's probably meant to be Nihil or something like that, but
yeah, it's probably something Norse.
Accent though. You could go, oh, look at that, he's our Nigel on the board, mean like fur job.
That only works if you're Bristolian.
Exactly. Our Nigel on the board again, like.
No Nigel.
Man. And then this model is for everyone. This is probably one of my favorite characters come out of Horus Heresy. Like, model-wise. It's so pretty.
Yeah. I know, it's epic.
That is nice.
Can you see
they get
Kane?
like a mix of like a helper and a demon prince.
Yeah, it's to represent the first heretic, I think, but either way, it just looks fucking cool.
Yeah, no, it's so pretty.
I like how you see all the guts out from the Space Marine, just like breakfast. Yeah, nice.
Definitely a big fan of that one.
Yeah, no, they give GW their due. They do some great work when it comes to making stuff look super pretty. Yeah, but again, I feel sometimes like that can be intimidating for noobs as well, because they look at that stuff and they go, "I'm never going to get to be able to paint it that way." I mean, I wish sometimes they'd show stuff in grey plastic.
Yeah, just
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, I definitely get what you say, because like, especially looking at like the Ultramarine ones, there, like all the details touched on, like that intimidates me. Like I look at that, I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to start.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I could probably get it close. I mean, my face work's not great. I mean, I could probably get it close to that, but it's like you look at it and you go, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, no, that looks like a massive time sink into these models.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that's going to take like a good 5 days to like just do like a squad, and that's just too much effort.
We ain't doing this hobby to put effort in.
Yeah, well, it's just one. I mean, there are certain things where I will like. There'll be one-off like models where I'll go, yeah, I'm going to put like a lot of effort into this because I want it to look really good. Like, you know, like the War Dog I did the other day. Like,
Yeah,
legit, I'll put effort into stuff like that because I want to. But even that, if it takes me more than a couple of days, I lose my motivation for it, and it'll just sit on a shelf. I won't finish it.
I think. I mean, I don't know if you guys feel the same. Like when you paint your models, do you feel as if ever sometimes you set your own expectations too high? Sometimes I feel like I do this. Like I feel like I've got an idea, but it's just I think where it's so complicated that when I go to try it, it doesn't work how I want to do it, and then it's really frustrating.
I get what you're saying, but I know I'm a shit painter, so I'm just like, look, most of the time I'm impressed with models because I'm like, damn, they're actually better than I thought.
I feel like I think since I started doing TikTok, I think there's a slight pressure there to, get better than I am. I feel that more now, and I feel like I'm trying to push myself to be a better painter because I want to show people what I can do.
Yeah.
And
But
my best friend who paints on a 5-up on TikTok, she's a pro painter. And
yeah,
like
right.
we were just spitballing the other day, and she's like, "Well, I can't wet blend," and I was like, "I want to try and wet blend now because you can't do it. I want to see if I can do it." And I was
Yeah,
like,
gotta show them up.
"Yeah." So like, oh, she was we were kind of like she was giving me some constructive criticism about me like being lazy with layering and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to try and wet blend. So I watched the masterclass video. And I was like, I'm going to give this a go. And I thought, I think for my first couple of attempts at it, I think I did not bad, to be fair. And it's not as like you'll think about it, and it's like it's so intimidating. But like when you get it down to the base principle, it's not actually that hard to do. It's time
Yeah, right.
consuming, but it's not that hard to do.
So do
See,
you
I feel
feel
like you're just.
sorry.
I was just gonna say, I feel like you're saying now, like, oh yeah, it's not that bad, just so you can rub it in her face. You're just like, yeah, I can wet blend.
I mean, like, I can understand, I mean, I can see, like, when she's trying to do it, I don't think she's practiced much. I think she's just gone straight into doing it on models and, like, on small
Yep,
panels and stuff like that. And I think on smaller panels, it would be massively difficult.
sure.
On a shield or something like that, like, you've got a lot more room to work. So I think until I try it on a, like, shoulder pad or something like that, I can't say I can wet blend properly. I mean, I can do it on a shield easily enough, but,
Yeah,
like, doing it on something really small, I think it would be still quite hard to do. Just because of like the angles you're trying to get it from. But
yeah,
I think it's important as like painters and stuff like that to try to like Jordan said, if you're feeling like your expectations are too high, I think they should be high, and I think you should always try and do new techniques as much as you can, even if it's something you're not comfortable with. I feel like you need, as a painter, if you want to do it as like, we're on TikTok, we're obviously wanting to show off our work. We're obviously wanting to be part of a community and like help everyone be better at what they do. But I feel like we've got to push ourselves and like try a new technique every chance we get, even if it's something that scares the kick out of us. We've really got to go for it. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
about
understandable.
yourselves. When I first started painting was quite scary anyway. And like I know people say, "Oh, I don't want to try this new technique because it scares me." And it's like, well, painting was scary to begin with, and we overcame that. So let's keep going.
Yeah, well, like you're saying about TikTok, like it gives you that accountability now because it's like you kind of can't just cop out of things because you don't want to. Because, like you said, you've got that level now where you want to show off what you can do. So it's like those things that you put off and you're like, oh, you actually are like, you know what, let's do it. And then when you can do it, you get to show it off and people get to hype it up and you're like, damn, I did a good job. Like it's good. It's good for yourself to just get that.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, I think I've painted more models in the last year since I've been on TikTok than I painted in the 3 years previous.
I can say the same, and I've painted one model.
I mean, thanks to TikTok, I mean, I've painted so much. I mean, I've painted 2 full armies, and now I'm working on my third. I've fully painted probably about a 2,500 point Thousand Suns army, and I've fully painted a 6,000 point Tau army. And now I'm working on my Dakari, which is probably easily about maybe again 2,500 or 3,000 points worth overall. And it's just insane. But I'm enjoying it, and I think the good thing with TikTok is that for people who are starting in the community, they are seeing all the help and guidance in the comments and be like, oh yeah, if you want to improve, do this or do that, or check out my video on my profile, and this is how I go about this. So, I feel like it gives people who are new to the hobby a better opportunity on not being so shy when it comes to sharing their models. Because I've seen so many people improve over time, just where their confidence is growing, and it's great to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Just by them trying kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
TikTok's been a good power for the community. I think I need more people need to utilize it.
Yeah, Kane.
No to be silence during this.
I mean, I feel like the community on TikTok's great. I mean, there are some negative kind of things where it's a case of feel like some people are in it just solely for the attention, and they're not for the community. If you know what I mean, there's certain people that don't follow back.
Right.
A lot of the people who follow them, and I feel
I
like
do feel that with some.
that kind of takes away from what we were trying to build with the videos that we did to like share everybody's profiles and stuff like that. Everyone following everyone and everyone trying to get everyone where they're supposed to be so we can all do lives together and have fun. I feel there's a lot of, not everyone, but there are a few people in the community who just, that you can see it, they've got like 2,000 followers and they follow back like 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so frustrating.
I feel that's really negative and really kind of like bad on their part. And I mean, if they are listening, you should feel bad about it because it is bad. We were trying to build a community where we all work together as like a kind of like, almost socialist kind of Warhammer community where we all boosted each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Wasn't just about you getting your numbers up,
Because then what's the point? Like, you get your numbers up, but it's like, yeah, great. Now what? Like, we've got this community, and like, once you hit that 1,000, like, I stopped caring about what my follower count was because I was like, well, I've got that 1,000 now. I can do lives, not that I ever do, but like I can, and I can join in, and that's what's fun for me, and that's what the whole community is about. So it's like,
I mean, I was lucky. I was lucky enough early on that I got 180,000 views on one video.
That's
so
nice.
I can do the creator account and stuff like that. So I was lucky in that aspect. because I shared, I think it was the kill shot from like the Ultramarine movie.
Yeah.
Where basically Sean Pertwee's character basically just bends down, shoots, and it does the zoom in on the bullet, and it like flies in, kills the Chaos Space Marine. Like, that one got like 180 odd view, 880 odd thousand views. So that lets me do the like creator aspect of it, because I think you need 100,000 views to do that.
Yeah, right.
But that was a random weirdness. I didn't think it was going to get that many views. Like, I just stuck it up because I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
But
no.
I literally follow anyone I think looks cool, anyone that is funny. You know, I follow like 9,000 accounts
Yeah.
on TikTok, and like,
There's no shame in that though. Like,
No.
there seems to be a stigma that if your follower count is like lower than your following, then you're doing something wrong. But it's like, no, it just shows you're supporting more people.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see stuff that makes me giggle, and that's like, you know, so I can share it with other people. I don't give a crap that my follower count's higher than my following. You know, as you said, like when you hit 1,000 mark, there's nothing else past that.
No, you're just doing it now because that's what's fun.
Yeah, I mean, like, because TikTok's so popular, like you're not gonna get noticed. Like Weshammer was in from the beginning, and he's got like thousands upon thousands of followers. You know,
Yeah.
you're not going to get to that level. I mean, you look at Mini Wargaming, even they're struggling to get like as many followers as Weshammer.
Right, and they have the name to back them up.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, it depends how active you are, and I don't really see. And I've been following Mini Wargaming on TikTok for some time, and I don't see them very active on there. Personally, anyway, from my perspective. I mean, I remember I caught them live, and David just started his live stream, and like he was only live for like 5 minutes, and then it ended, and I was like, oh man,
That was all.
super gutted. I was just like, oh, I was
I
kind of
think
just vibing in the chat for a bit. This was awesome.
I think they mostly focus on Instagram and YouTube, and they do Twitch as well. And I think that's fair, because they've got a lot on their plate.
Right, and that's their business model that they go off. Like, they're at a point where they're making money off it, so they've got to keep making money off it. So things like TikTok, it's a nice little on the side, but they're not going to make the money off it. So it's going to drop in priority, where something like Instagram or obviously a YouTube video will actually pay them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, one thing I do when it comes to like the Warhammer community though on TikTok is people who I follow and follow me back, is when they finally reach that 1K mark, I'll always pop a message being like, you know, congratulations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely like we're definitely, I think a lot of us are very much about, I mean, a few of us, I think, and I wouldn't say most of us, a few of us are about making everyone better and making everyone happy and making it a good place for everyone to be. Whereas, you know, as I said earlier, a lot of people are about just getting their numbers up. And I think if you're doing it just to get your numbers up, you're hurting the community more than you're helping it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think in my eyes, when I see stuff like that, it feels like it's like a lack of respect as well.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's like, okay, so the best way I can describe it is, imagine going into a McDonald's, but they don't make the cheeseburger properly, and it's like they don't give you the bun, they give you all the pickles in the world, and you're just like, excuse me, did I ask for this? No.
I mean, it's almost like that, but it's almost like you're running the McDonald's and you're only making nice cheeseburgers for like one or two people, but the massive amount of your customers are getting like crap ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's like you're not good enough to have a proper cheeseburger. You can have like a chicken nugget and leave. You know,
just the one.
Yeah, just the one nugget. Leave.
With that chicken nugget, neither. It's just plain. You're not getting any dip at all.
But I feel like it's like if someone follows you because they like your stuff, the least you can do is follow them back.
100%.
You know, it's like they're giving you the respect of going, right, I'm going to follow this person and I'm going to watch their videos. And I've had people come on mine and sit for like, because I get tons of videos on mine for like hours, going through like liking, commenting. I mean, that takes time. The least I can do is give them a follow back and go check if they've got any videos. I can guarantee you, out of all the people that we've had in our community, not everyone does that.
No, that's
And
for sure.
especially not the ones that have got low counts where they're not following people back. They don't go through everyone's account and check that they've checked them out. And that for me is a lack of respect.
100%. I feel like I feel like in regards to I feel like there are a lot of good inspiring Warhammer TikTokers though that do show that respect back. And I want to give a shout out to these TikTokers because I feel like they really do represent a good image. Man from McCrag, you're one yourself as well as Average War Gamer.
Yeah.
People like Devon Miniature War Games, Vio Bubble, Let's Make It Orky. You know, these are like some of the biggest TikTokers, including yourselves, and just the level of respect is so high. There are definitely others, so I'm sorry if I've not given you guys a shout, but these are just a few examples of the amount of respect that these people give. It's just amazing, and it's something to inspire to, and that people need to do more of.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Devon. I mean, the fact of the matter is, Andy's got 10k followers, and every time, like, even when I go on his videos and I like interact with his videos, he always takes the time to comment back, like my stuff, and he'll come and do it on mine as well. And he's got 10k followers. You know, he's got a lot of stuff going on his page, but he always takes that time to come. And you see it on other people's accounts where the people have got like 100 followers or something, and he's going and commenting on their stuff. You know, he takes that time to do that, and that is hugely respectful and kind of him.
He did it for me when I first started out, because I joined in on one of his lives, and he like obviously called me out to welcome into the chat, so I stuck around for a bit. Then after that live, he followed me and liked like pretty much every video I'd done up to that point. And it was like he actually came into my profile after his live to give me that follow and like my shit, and that was cool.
Yeah,
definitely a level of respect that needs to be shown more. And you know, I try to do the same thing when people comment on my videos. I try to get back to everyone, but I also try to make sure I do content as well that people enjoy. So sometimes I'll record a video and I'll watch it back. I'm like, no, I'm not a fan of it. And then I'm like, no, new plan. And I'll kind of write down on my notes, be like, come on, George, think of a good video. What do I post?
Look, I strategically named myself Average, so then that way I can just put out whatever content and it's average and it fits the name. You know, I got this down pat.
It's the bill.
I think from my first few videos, I was very much like, oh yeah, I've got to have this kind of like, you know, I've got to kind of try and do something that people find relevant and like they'll like. And I was just like, now I'm just like, I'm just gonna film any old crap because like I like it, and if I like it, someone else will like it. So you know, if the numbers don't go up, the numbers don't go up. You know, I don't really care. I'm putting it out there, and some people will appreciate it.
Yeah, that's it. Should we move on to the Q&A part of the podcast?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Do you have the questions up, or do you want me to get them?
I've got them.
Lovely. I have one on mine, so I'll come to that after.
Yeah. Awesome. So,
Kane, you can join in this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, we can get all your questions, all your answers on this.
Just make sure you didn't have a nap. Just bring him on the podcast so he can sleep.
Yeah,
it's good listening to you guys be so passionate about this. It's good to listen to.
Well, if you're liking it, other people are going to. Anyway,
exactly.
Sorry. You go, John.
We're just going to. Oh wait, no. Okay, it's not allowing me to copy it in, but I'll just read them out. So I got one from here from @xpro_Saturn_5. Out of the loyal Primarch, who would you like to see return first, and who is most likely giving the current lore? I personally would love Leman Russ. I agree with his answer there. Leman Russ all the way.
I I think Lehman Russ is the one that makes the most sense. It's the one that wouldn't break story too much. So I reckon it will be Lehman Russ that comes back first. Personally, I'd like to see the Lion come back. Again, I don't think that would break story too much. I feel like, the Dark Angels, they deserve to have their Primarch back, and maybe we find out actually what what's going on with him and in the Rock and stuff, and what the Watchers of the Dark actually are and stuff like that. Yeah, it would be kind of cool. I know they've touched on the Watchers in the Dark a little bit, but there's not been much done on them, and I think it would be cool to have him come back too.
Yeah, for sure. Kane?
Really, I would agree with the Lion coming back, because I feel like they'd be able to develop that out a lot more with the Dark Angels, and it would have a lot of interesting aspects to add it all.
Yeah.
Awesome, yeah. At Cruncraft has asked, what army would you suggest for someone who wants to get into 40k, crafting wise and in terms of gameplay? Okay, now I'm going to be your typical GW store person here, and I'm going to say Space Marines, or generally any Space Marine faction, whether that be Space Marines, Blood Angels, or even if it's Chaos Marines. Just because I feel like they're very Space Marine armies are very easy to play. They're not too complicated. When I started, I played Craftworld's Eldar, and I literally had so many issues trying to figure out what I was doing. And then I bought a Space Wolves army, and everything kind of just fell through like so much more simpler.
Yeah, I think Space Marines is good because they're mediocre at everything, but they can do everything. They're also really easy kits to put together, and they're reasonably easy to paint, so it gives you the kind of a decent, easy aspect on all of it. They're easy to play, they're easy to paint, they're easy to build. Their lore's reasonably fun to get into. But again, I mean, the thing is, depending on how a creative person you are, orcs are also really easy to do.
Yes.
And if you
Yes.
break orcs, it still looks cool because they're
Yeah.
meant to be like that. Orcs and Space Marines, they were the original back in the day with the ones that were in the box set.
Yeah.
And
Salt and Black.
that was the two easiest armies to learn, and I think today they still are the two easiest armies to learn.
I think
And I also
also.
think,
You go.
okay, I think when you're going for starting out, is you start out easy. Don't push yourself to go for the highfalutin rules like stratagems and like battle tactics and stuff like that. Start out just learning how you roll dice with your army and do easy things. Don't pressure yourself into being a competitive player straight away, because a lot of people put pressure on themselves when they're starting out the hobby, and they shouldn't.
Yeah, for sure. I think with this edition, they've done a good job of bringing Necrons to almost be a good starting point as well. If you don't want to go down the normal good guy list, they've simplified them enough, but there's enough complex stuff in there that you can grow into as a codex. I think that's pretty cool. But I think at the end of the day, it really just comes down to what model do you think is the prettiest? What are you actually going to want to paint? Because you could get an army because we say Space Marines are the easiest to start with. But if that's not what you want, if you want normal human beings with cool tanks, then get the Guard. You'll learn how to use them in your own time. And if you really enjoy the models, you'll stick to it.
Oh yeah, it's the passion behind it as well. I think that's the thing. It's if you're passionate about something in the lore. I mean, I always advise people now to either read the lore or listen to the audiobooks before they start the hobby, because if they can delve into that and they get the feel for it, they'll find out what they want to be army wise a lot quicker.
Yeah. What about you, Kane?
The same as you guys, but I'm more leaning towards getting custodians, because they're points per model. They are probably one of the most expensive armies out there. They're absolutely piss easy to paint. You just spray paint them gold and they're ready to go. And they're also one of those armies where you can, if you really look into it, that they're easy to play. Yeah, they're tough. They hit on twos, mostly wound on twos, that type of stuff. But if you really delve deep, they've got like the trickiest stratagems of be able to, 3-inch deep strike terminators and that type of stuff. And you can really probably, they're easy to play but hard to master. So it'd be a good army just to start off with, get used to it, and then if you wanted to start getting deeper into it, you've still kind of got a competitive aspect to it as well.
Yeah, and I think having the minimal models, like, it means they can get a fully painted army a lot quicker. Like, orcs would be great, but a beginner trying to paint 120 orc boys would probably get burnt out pretty quick.
No.
Yeah.
Indeed. Which it's funny how you speak about orcs, because that reminds me, what in your opinion is the best 40k faction? And that is from at the Last Wolf 11.
I mean, they're definitely up there as one of the best.
They're up there, son.
They're so iconic, though.
Yeah, they're the original bad guys. They're brilliant. They were made by the old ones. They've got a rich lore. They're hilarious. They're pretty damn cool. I mean, personally, I think again, it's a subjective question because it's personal. It's personal preference, really. I mean, what I think is the best 40k faction, you won't. I like the Ultramarines because they're very Roman Empire, and I love the Romans. So for me, they're the best.
And for me, I like Jakari because in fantasy, I've always liked Dark Elves, and these are Dark Elf space pirates. So for me, that's the coolest thing out.
The Goth Eldar are really cool.
Is quite an interesting one because it's funny enough an army that I actually do not collect, and I like them. I've always liked them, but it's a top two for me, and it's Orcs is for me, I think, one of the best, as well as Black Templars. Just I love that whole kind of knights thing, and just I like the whole idea of kind of like Knights of the Round Table kind of thing, and it's just it's very it's kind of very like a classic thing for me, and for some reason I get like proper like I don't know if you guys ever played the game, but Dante's Inferno vibes from like
no, I see that.
So
does that mean you're starting a Templar army?
Maybe. I'm in debates just because I've got space puppies. But if I do, I'll have a very small Templar army, just to coincide along with the space wolves. But I've always loved Black Templars. But see, I would paint them differently. I wouldn't have the main base of them like how it's normally based all black, and then all the other small details white. In fact, I would flip it around so it's like like a proper old traditional knight.
Right.
All right. Okay.
So like a proper Roman knight. Yeah. So that's how I do it. Something you'd see out of what's that? I'm trying to think of that game that came out. For Honor, that's the one. Something like that.
I have like the full plate kind of stuff, or is it more of a
proper grills and everything? Yeah.
So like proper armor, and then like just like heraldry marks and stuff like that.
Yeah, do what I can with like and stuff. Be awesome.
That'd be pretty cool.
My favorite army would probably just be the good old Imperial Guard, just because just having the aspects of just a normal guy with normal Joe out there rocking out against what is out there is I just think that blows my mind every single way, shape or form.
That's cool.
I'm actually going to throw into my own question, actually in this Q&A section, about guards. What do we think guardsmen eat? Do we think they grow like do we think they still grow like potatoes, fruit, and veg in the 40k universe, or is that just completely gone now?
It'll probably be like those kind of like dehydrated food packets, I would imagine.
Yeah,
just like protein wrapped, but you add water to.
They probably don't even feed guardsmen because it's like you'll be dead in 15 minutes, so you don't need to eat.
Shall I feed him? Nah, he'll die in a minute. Chaos, what card in? 10, 5. Yep, he's dead.
Instead of please sir, can I have more? You have little Oliver come up, say, please sir, can I have any?
Yeah.
Commissar's is like, nope.
The commissar
Jet
shoots him in
Bruce's-
the back of the head.
Oh,
Eat lid.
How dare you ask?
Piss off, you little
I got
peasant.
That just for some reason that gave me like proper of mice and men vibes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No, Larry, you were innocent. There we go. At Crunchy Dump has asked, what's the best way to fix semi-dried paint or not fully dried paint like slimy texture? My mate left them open. Depends how on the condition. The only thing you could really do is water them down, as far as I'm aware. Or I think Games Workshop have. I think they sell like a liquid.
Yeah, it's
Kind of.
lamium medium.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
That's
can't you
the
add a
one.
medium to it?
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you add
and then-
lamium medium to it, you can basically it leaves the paint a little bit thinner, but you thin it down anyway. So if you add in lamium medium to it and give it a good shake, because I had to do that with a couple of my whites, because the whites get really bitty and horrible. So I drop
Wipe
in
the
like
shit.
lamium medium to Corax white, and it fixes it right up.
I feel like that's a very common one with Corax White, though. I mean, I got a new one not too long ago, like a couple of weeks back, and it's already like slowly drying up. And
Yeah.
that's not to do with
GW can't make white anymore. Ceramite
Yeah.
white was the best white on the market, and they don't make it anymore. It's ridiculous. They can't make white paint. It's horrible.
What white paint do you use then? Because I know there's so many other companies.
I still use GW stuff, but it's thinned down to like with lamium medium to the ridiculous extent. And I just layer it because they just can't make white paint. Like I use like White Scar and Corax, both clump and they're both bitty and horrible. So unless you do something to them out of the pot, they're just crap.
Yeah.
But I had like 4 pots of ceramite white, and I've only just ran out. So I was using ceramite white before that, just because it's the best white paint I've ever used.
Talking about paints, though, at Gree12346 has asked, if you could have any 5 colours in the Space Marine colour scheme, what would they be? And McCraig, I'll let you kick this one off, as you were talking about your white paints.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, yeah, it's a ceramite white for sure. If they remade that, I'd be a very happy bunny. But like, you know, I mean, it's like you can't paint five. I mean, are we just talking like plain colors? Because like you can't just have 5 colors. Like if
In unfortunately, that's all it says. It doesn't say like a mix, so I'm assuming they said any 5 colors. So I'm assuming this will be a mixture of like base layer and washes and stuff.
Fair enough. Like, so it'd be like, yeah, that's definitely it's blue because like I have ultramarines. So it'd be like white, blue, red, gold, a little bit of leather work, you know, so like browns and whatever.
I'd go black, silver, blue, probably a skin flash, and red. And that's just because I'm looking at my Death Watch at the moment.
Nah, Death Watch.
I would probably try and do like just because I think it'll be interesting, like a very turquoise type theme. So probably variants of blues and greens, maybe hints of like white and black and here and there to highlight other areas.
Under the sea theme.
Yeah, like if you've seen the film like Lava Boy and Shark Girl, just like there you go. Something like that maybe. Or have them all SpongeBob Space Marines. That sounds awesome.
That would be great.
Just have SpongeBob running around. Okay, like imagine now I might do a really terrible impression here, but just imagine just like a SpongeBob Space Marine going around just like just like with a bolt gun.
I imagine that to be the sound of his chainsaw.
It's like, is it a laugh or is that his chainsaw going on?
No, I feel like the chainsaw would be Patrick's. It would just be like Lee.
And every bolt gun shot is just Squidward complaining.
Every Space Marine comes with their own like little Imperial Guardsman that's basically in the shape of a Patrick. Stays beside him the whole time.
Starfishes and everything.
Oh god!
Your big tanks are just walking chum buckets.
Oh, genius!
That's a crossover I never thought I'd see.
No. The crossover we should probably never see.
I mean, then again, the other day I seen someone paint a Mr. Blobby space marine, and I'm like, oh, I used to have my Space Horse painted as Mr. Blobby. I used to have Mr. Blobby Space Horse, and then I got rid of him, and then someone else done it on TikTok. I was like, oh yes, the reminisce.
I wanted to do My Little Pony themed Death Guard
Yes.
because
That.
Have you seen
reasons.
some pony stuff for his Grey Knights? I think Papa Greek did pony stuff for his Grey Knights.
All right, no, I haven't seen it.
He did like all different color Grey Knights for Kill Team Squad.
Nice.
I have a question here on my video. It's from Omegon Alpha. Will they enter Will they enter Dante when he eventually dies, or just let him rest? I think he's too much of an asset to just let him rest. Like if he ever died, he'd be shoved so quickly into a dreadnought.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Like they'd just be like, "Oh, look, just get in there," because like he's one of the oldest Marines, so they just wouldn't let him go.
That's the thing as well. Like what he means to the Blood Angels as well. It's like, they're not going to know.
Because he carries the mask of Sanguinius, so if he died, they'd want to still keep that going. So you'd have a dreadnought with Sanguinius's mask on it.
I mean,
that would be pretty sick.
Basically, he is the Lost Boys of the Blood Angels. He's like, nah, just give me some of that Imperium blood and I'm good for the Emperor.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one. It's like, if you were a Space Marine, would you want to be interred as a Dreadnought, or would you just want to die?
No,
I just want to die.
Dreadnoughts are cool.
The emo in me wants the pain of being a dreadnought, so...
I've not suffered enough.
You've just got My Chemical Romance on the Dreadnought and just all these bands you listen to.
I'd have two close combat like fists, and every time they wake me up, I'd just be fist pumping like, yes, pain, yeah. Oh man.
Just wake up to Tenacious D. This is a tribute. And now I'm a dreadnought. You gotta believe.
Oh man.
Oh dear.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but Ross, Jordan told me something about you did some work for Mini Wargaming.
Yeah, I thought that was going to come up. Yeah, no, I emailed them out of the blue and basically said I wanted to do like narrative work, and Dave was like, "Send me some stuff." I sent him some of my like TikTok stuff, and he was like, "Can you send me stuff that isn't attached to a video?" So I recorded some stuff for him and sent it over, and then he sent me like some scripts and asked me to do like voiceover work with it. I did that, and he really liked it. And he said he was gonna use it. It hasn't come out yet.
Right.
And because they're so behind schedule, I don't know if it will. But so I have the recording.
It was for a narrative
I have
campaign.
The recording. Me and it was meant to be. I think it was meant to be used as part of their Battlefleet Gothic campaign they were planning on doing.
Okay, yeah.
Because they were planning on doing a big kind of like Battlefleet Gothic and then 40k ground battles kind of big campaign, but I don't think it's come to fruition yet.
Yeah, well, COVID set them really far behind. I remember that they went
Yeah, no. When I spoke to
filming.
Dave, initially when I said when was it coming out, they were like 3 months behind schedule.
Yeah.
At that point. So if it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out. But they bought me a microphone, so
Oh, sick.
Dave basically bought me as a thank you for helping them out, like with doing the sort of thing. So it was really nice. But yeah, no, he's a genuinely sound guy. Like he watched my battle report on YouTube and gave me some feedback on it and stuff like that. So that was pretty sweet.
Dave seems like a very cool guy. Like, just so much energy.
You know how he does the Shrine of Chaos.
What was that?
Like how he does his Shrine of Chaos every week where he interviews people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he video chatted me, and it was pretty much like being on a Shrine of Chaos because he video chatted me from the office where he does it.
Yeah, right. That's
so I was fanboying all over the place.
Talking about fanboy. Hey, Mini Wargaming Dave, if you listen, and we would love you as a guest on the podcast. Okay,
Mate, imagine my life would be so complete if we could get him on one of these podcasts. Do you reckon, with everyone in the TikTok community, we could get that to happen?
Yeah, if
Do
you
want me to email him?
I mean, I wouldn't say no. That would literally make my life.
I mean, if you want me to, I can email him and see if he'll
email him.
I would take back my Dreadnought comment because I'd be more than happy to die after that point.
I'll ping him an email and see what he says.
Man, I appreciate that so much.
Because of Mini Wargaming Dave. Like, as soon as I started my 1,000 Suns, I'm like, right, I'm getting a Defi. Like, I need a Defi. Like, my favorite series was Life is a Wargamer, and then like the fact that I don't see any episodes anymore of this, I'm like, no. But there's so much more good content there.
I think so many of us began with Mini Wargaming. Like, when I was starting to get back into it, I just remember watching all the How to Paint Space Wolves, and that's what kept me motivated in the hobby. And it was just from there, watching the battle reports, like, it was just incredible. It helped me get back into it and really stay into it. And
okay, so, like, I've been watching Mini Wargaming since I was like, I think I was 13 or 14. So it's like for 10 years I've been watching their content on YouTube like consistently.
It's been amazing to even watch them grow, like from real early on, their old studio into the one they had recently, and now the bunker. Like, to watch them grow like that has been something awesome. It's such a shame that they finished the bunker just in time for COVID.
Yeah, it was. It was bad. It was bad timing, but they're still doing well.
Yeah.
So they're not going anywhere anytime soon, and they're the best. They're the best at what they do. There's no company out there that's better than them. People just don't come close.
Yeah.
Even like Play on Tabletop, which are phenomenal. They do brilliant battle reports. They still don't have the same feel as Mini Wargaming.
Nah. And I feel like Mini Wargaming definitely set the bar, especially and helped even just Warhammer on YouTube in general, because they were able to spearhead a lot of it. And now a lot of these other ones, like Tabletop Tactics, Play On, and all those, they do really, really well. But Mini Wargaming were just doing it before.
Yeah, all these other companies are standing on the shoulder of giants. They are.
Yeah.
Like Mini Wargaming made battle reports what they are.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just benefiting from it. And the thing is, I find having had personal contact with Dave will do anything to help anyone that he can if he's got the time to do it. And he owns one of the biggest Warhammer wargaming YouTubes out there. Liam Dempsey, who runs Deployment Zone TV and works with Winter's SEO. Massive shout out to him as well. He was the one that actually gave me the confidence to actually start doing the battle reports on YouTube, because he coached me through it, and he was a genuinely sound guy as well. Most of the guys who run their YouTube channels will help if they can, and I think that again is giving back to the community.
Yeah, sorry. It just extends off what we're saying with TikTok. Like, real genuine people that are actually trying to help out other people in the community are definitely like what makes this so great.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to think. Like, I mean, like they don't have to do it, but they do, and that's what makes it important. You know, they give back to the people who support them because they know that. They know without us, they said. I mean, everyone says that without us, they don't get to do what they do.
Yeah,
Because we support them, we watch their videos, we subscribe to their channels, we interact with their social media posts. So we are their community. We make them who they are. So a lot of them know that, and that's important to them.
yeah,
GW have realized just how important all these like battle report channels are.
yeah,
Hence
for
why they've
sure.
not gone. You can't do battle reports anymore.
It would hurt them way too much if they did that.
Yeah, it would ruin them. I think because I think a lot of their business has come from how big the YouTube community is.
Yeah. Well, without the YouTube, I probably would have lost interest in the hobby when it was just me. So,
Yeah, I mean, they watching YouTube and watching mini wargaming got me through COVID.
yeah.
You know, I was watching battle reports was what kept me motivated to paint stuff and build stuff. So without that, I would have been lost. You know.
Well, has anyone else got anything they want to talk about?
I've not got much else. But I think on the basis of what we covered, that it just really does go to show how when we bump heads and put our mindsets together, we could really build a strong community of Warhammer, and I feel like it helps welcoming new players because when I was a new player in 40k, as far as I'm aware, there wasn't really a community. As far as I had known, it was you'd rock up to a local games workshop and you would kind of just meet people you got to know. But I feel like over time, and I think it's a big thanks to Mini Wargaming that there is now this community of people who play Warhammer and know each other from TikTok now or Instagram or whatever socials you use. Um, And I feel like we're slowly taking down these gatekeepers, and
Oh,
it's
for
it's
sure. I
great to
mean,
see.
like I remember when I was younger. I mean, we're going back when I started. I was 13, so that was 24 years ago. And there was very little. If you didn't go to a club, you would never know what Warhammer was. Like I remember going, and even at the club we went to, there was only like 2 or 3 people playing it, and that's how I got into it. We weren't talking young guys here. We were talking these guys were in their late 40s who were playing it, and it wasn't like when we were at the club, it wasn't considered something the younger guys did. You know, we played like card games and did a little bit of D&D, but the wargaming side of it was all guys in their 40s.
Yeah.
And the younger guys didn't talk to them, and I just went over one day and went, "Can you tell me what this is and how to play it?" And like even then, the help they gave me, like giving free stuff and showing how to paint stuff and stuff, it was even then. But you had to go to these places to find out what it was. Now it's everywhere. You know, it's in magazines and shops. You know, you can go and pick up the new Imperium and stuff like that. There's a lot more. It's on telly. Yeah, I mean, like the
Yeah.
Imperium ads are on TV. I mean, never had that when I was younger.
Like,
So the support for the hobby now, with like Warhammer Plus coming out, and I mean Warhammer Plus is only going to get better. You
Yeah.
know, give it like 6 months, there'll be so much content on there, you won't know what to do with it. You know, and I feel like the support now for the hobby is there. It's our job to help that out by helping the noobs come into it and feel welcome and feel like they're part of a bigger community. So they're not as intimidated by people going, "Oh, why are you playing Warhammer? Ugh, what's that?" You know, I feel like they'll go, "Well, there's always going to be people like that, but I've got my community behind me and they're supporting me." And that's our job as gamers to do that.
hundred
Yeah, for
percent.
sure.
And I feel like
100%.
In regards to all these hobbies and everything else, like, don't get me wrong, everyone's entitled to an opinion. Absolutely fine. Like, even if you're just a generic gamer with your PC or console, it doesn't matter. You're all gaming at the end of the day. It's the same with Warhammer. It doesn't matter what army you play, doesn't matter what you do. As long as you enjoy the hobby, that's what counts. There's no point like low blowing people into what you're doing and be like, oh well, that's childish or whatever. So freaking what? If you enjoy it, that's fine. I mean, if people are gonna insult you for what you enjoy, then clearly that says a lot about themselves. At the end of the day, it's all about spreading positivity and just doing what you got to do at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, your happiness comes from yourself. And if other people are that unhappy that they need to bring you down, that's not your fault.
And we had like I opened a club in my hometown, and we've got like our Facebook page and stuff like that, and we had somebody come on the other night. He wasn't a member on the group, but he was a friend of one of the members in the group. Now these are Navy lads, and one of the guys comes to the club, and one of them's an ex-sailor who comes to the club, and he'd been putting up pictures of him like his Age of Sigmar progress, and this guy decided to just start ripping into him, calling him sad and saying he was pathetic and stuff like that. And it's like, you're not even part of this group. What are you doing? And this is not a young guy. This was a 40-year-old man taking a rip out a guy in his like 20s. You expect better from like an adult, but sometimes people are people. But I feel it's like in our entire little community, like there's not a lot of us, but we all rallied around him and like, well, get out, blah, 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 blocked the guy from the group and like supported that guy. And I think that's the kind of microcosm of what we need to do in the macro. We need to be that group of people for those guys who are getting bullied for wanting to be in the hobby. So they know they can come back to us and go like, guys, I'm struggling with this. I'm being bullied for it, blah, 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 blah. So they know they've got somewhere to go and talk. And I think TikTok is a great way to do that because it's more accessible and mainstream. The community can be really vibrant on there.
Right. And
100%.
who would have guessed that it was TikTok too? So, like, TikTok to me was just young teenagers doing dances and coming up with shit. And like they were talking about it at my workplace, and I got it for a bit, and then I came across the community. I was like, what the hell? Like, this is actually a thing. So I got on board with it, and even to this day, it still blows my mind that like this great community is on TikTok.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I've always said to people that join my live streams as well, it's like, if you guys want to chat, even if it's just like a generic message, if anyone's feeling low, here's a link to my Discord. If you want to private message me, go for it. And even on TikTok, I've had a fair few people private message me on TikTok saying like, man, I'm feeling a bit low, I just need to chat. Yeah, fine. It takes 5-10 minutes just to brighten up someone's day. The smallest of chats will do anything. And, I will happily take time out of my day to help or support anyone in any possible way I can. Within reason, that is.
It's free not to be a dickhead. It's free.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything to be nice. It doesn't cost anything to keep your nose out. But also with the whole like people feeling low, as I said, I mean, I've struggled with depression like my whole life, and I think in the community, our community as well, it's fairly frequent for people like in our community to suffer from depression, and I feel again nobody really talks about it. And I think it's important.
Subject there.
I think it's important for us all to know that we've got each other's backs. I mean, I've had a rough week this week, but thankfully I've got a massive support group around me that take care of me. My family are really good, and my friends are really good. But even at that, you can still have rough weeks. Where you just feel like you're not good enough or you're not worth it. The world would be a better place without you. And I mean, it's probably not true, but you still feel that way.
100%.
And sometimes you feel so alone, even though you're surrounded with people. And I feel like you need to watch out for the signals with people, and people need to know that they've got a place they can come to and talk to us.
Yeah,
Indeed.
definitely.
It's so important and even if you don't do 40k, and for anyone listening to the podcast, even if you're just a generic listener or anything. It's so important to find even an interest you have and find a community you can join with a bunch of people and you could just laugh and chill with, because there are always going to be out there who have common interests in you and who are also willing to help.
Yeah, and in saying that, look, I think I speak for all of us when I say, like, anyone listening to this podcast that is struggling, like, we're all here. If you need a chat, I'm sure any one of us is more than willing to have a chat with you. Like, even if it's just something little, talk about the hobby, get you distracted. Like, sometimes that's all you just need. It's just something else.
It's important to talk, even if it's not about the thing that you're struggling with. It's important to talk to someone, so you know there's someone in the world that is going to listen to you.
Exactly.
And if you do need to talk about the thing that is bothering you, I'm sure any of us will happily talk to you. But the key thing is speak to somebody.
Yeah. Just don't keep it to yourself.
Just bottle it all up.
No, it never ends well.
No.
When it does.
Well, I think on that wholesome note, that's enough for today, because it's going to be a big episode. But I want to thank Kane and Ross for both of you for coming on. This was a really good episode. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys.
Thanks very much.
It was a pleasure to be here.
Make sure, the listeners, if you're on Spotify, give us a follow. We're starting to really get some views, listens, which is really cool. And if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Yeah.
And if you have TikTok, follow the man from a crag, Average Wargaming, and myself, the Wargamer 111. And Kane, if you've got any plugs for yourself where people could follow you at all.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. His house is on 123 Fake Street, so we can go follow him there.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to follow my YouTube channel, it's Wardrum Batreps.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely do that.
They're awesome reports.
Anyway, until next time.
Let the dice rolls be anything but average.
My man.